Hi, in this video we're discussing the NCA Report. The NCA Report is the product of the self-assessment questionnaire you'll have completed on the Align platform. In this video we'll cover three things: the report's structure, how to interpret your results, and how to understand the recommendations. Let's begin with the report structure. Each NCA report contains the following sections. After the title page and table of contents is a section titled Appropriate Use. This outlines the terms and conditions under which you may use your report. Next is the executive summary. It contains a short introduction to the NCA, a summary of your scoring results, and your overall maturity score. Below that, you'll see a handy chart that summarizes all areas where you scored a 1. This is key to prioritizing which areas to address first. In the background information section, spanning the next few pages, there's important information to help you understand the foundation of the assessment and provides context that will help you interpret your results. Be sure to read this entire section before continuing. Your assessment results show several things: the overall score for your organization, NIST Cybersecurity Framework or CSF function scores, and scores for each of the 23 categories contained within the NIST CSF. Next is the comparative analysis section. This shows your organization's complexity index score, index category, as well as your organization's unique ID number. You want to keep that number confidential. It also shows the region your organization has been grouped in, a national bar chart showing where you rank within your complexity index category nationally, and your organization's comparative maturity score by complexity index within your region. In other words, it shows you where you rank among organizations similar to your own. In the NIST Framework Prioritization Matrix, first there's a short explainer on how to use the matrix. On the next page, there's a full chart of all the NIST CSF subcategories, divided by NIST CSF function, and organized into a 3-tiered prioritization matrix: Start, Next, and Later. As you can see, each subcategory is color-coded so you can identify its CMMI maturity at a glance. This chart has been specifically designed for the NCA service to show the entire NIST CSF framework in one chart. The details will not be visible here, but are available in Appendix A. Think of this as the captain's view of the entire ship from the bridge. At the bottom, there's a summary of the CMMI scores for each of the Start, Next, and Later tiers. The following page is where you'll find the NCA recommendations. They're formulated using the answers from the self-assessment questionnaire provided by your organization. Any NIST subcategories that score a 1 are identified and paired with a recommendation. The recommendation has been developed to raise the score of the item to the target value of 3. The recommendations are organized into the Start, Next, and Later tiers to assist you in prioritizing your efforts. After the recommendations, there'll be a short conclusion, followed by Appendix A, which contains each of the 15 sections of the prioritization matrix that are large enough for the detail in each section to be read, as well as Appendix B, which includes detailed scores for the NIST functions, categories, and subcategories, along with spider chart representations for each. All the results contained within this report pertain to your organization, excluding the short section that provides some comparative information. Now, let's discuss in a bit more detail how to interpret your results. The self-assessment control questions are mapped to the NIST CSF functions, categories, and subcategories through the Align tool. The answers to the control questions, which are organized using the Capability Maturity Model Integration Mechanism, or CMMI, are used to determine the maturity score for each of the NIST CSF subcategories. This, in turn, highlights areas of high and low cybersecurity process maturity for each of the NIST CSF subcategories. Lower cybersecurity process maturity equates to higher cybersecurity risk. This is the core premise behind the assessment and is the basis for identifying areas of higher cybersecurity risk. A score of 1, shown as red, illuminates the highest cybersecurity risk for your organization. Scores between 1 and 2, shown as orange, form the next level of risk. And scores between 2 and 3, shown as yellow, are the next level of risk. To ensure that you are focusing efforts on the highest risk items, it is important to start with the areas with the lowest scores. Risk areas scoring 3 or above are shown in various shades of green, as 3 is the target cybersecurity process maturity score. Now let's talk a bit about the NIST functions and how they help you understand the cyber risk to your organization. When evaluating your cyber risk, don't focus simply on your overall score. It's more important to identify areas that are below the target level of 3. This begins to show which of the functions may require more effort to increase cybersecurity process maturity, or where there is greater risk. It is common for the protect function scores to be higher than the identify function scores. This is likely because protection measures, for example firewalls, are put in place to lower immediate risk to the organization in a general way without the knowledge that is gained through the identify function. In this case, the urgent may have outweighed the important. Scores at the category level provide more detail into specific areas of cyber risk. It's here where you can most easily identify areas of low cybersecurity process maturity. Anything in red indicates an area with low cybersecurity maturity and therefore poses the highest risk. These items are the top priority and should be corrected first. Let's take a look at the subcategory level. This is the most granular level of reporting from the NCA. The 23 categories are divided into 108 subcategories, all of which are organized into 5 functions. Here, we're looking at the identify function. The recommendations in the report are made at the subcategory level, as it provides the most detail about cybersecurity process maturity. When we look closely at the matrix, we can see that it was created to provide a window into the subcategory level of the NIST CSF and to show the framework within the 5 functions. You may not be able to read the subcategories here, but you'll get a sense of which functions and categories will need to be addressed. The prioritization component was designed to divide the 108 subcategory items into 3 levels of priority: start, next, and later. These are divided into 5 columns: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. This provides a visual roadmap showing which items should be addressed in which order to best help minimize risk to your organization. The foundational cybersecurity items are found in the start row and go in order through the columns, like so. So naturally, we begin evaluating the matrix in the start row in the identify column. Any red items here are considered first priority. Then check for red items in the protect column, followed by the detect column, and so on until you've reached the end of the start row. Once these have been mitigated, move to the row labeled next and work through the identify to recover columns and mitigate any red items. Lastly, do the same for the later row. In this way, the lowest scored, highest risk items are being prioritized. Once all the red items are resolved, review all orange items and perform the same process as above, beginning in the start row and identify column, through the later row and recover column. This again is prioritizing the next highest risk items as identified by the results of the self-questionnaire. Once the same is performed for the yellow items, your organization would be close to having all of the necessary processes matured to the point where they would be at or at least close to the target value of 3. This means you will have significantly lowered the risk of a cybersecurity event having a devastating impact on your organization. By comparing your reports from year to year, you'll be able to see your progress over time as areas that were once red change to orange, yellow, and green. For the first iteration of the NCA, we focused on cybersecurity process maturity scores of 1 at the subcategory level for the formulation of recommendations. Consistent with the rest of the report, recommendations are presented in order of priority, with start items at the top, next items below, and later items shown last. These divisions were created through consultations with multiple security officers in the research and higher education sector to provide users a mechanism to help order any activities that may be required to lower risk. The recommendations are designed to move your organization towards the target level of maturity for each subcategory. They'll usually include a formal documentation portion and an implementation portion. By addressing these 2 portions, you are likely to move your score to a cybersecurity process maturity of 3. We suggest that you look through the full list of recommendations in all the prioritization tiers to help you plan any remediation projects. There may be some recommendations that can be combined from different tiers. Several factors specific to your organization, be they financial resources, availability of personnel, or level of expertise, may affect the number of projects you are able to undertake. If you have the capacity to address all the start items, that's great. If you are only able to undertake a few of them, that's good too. Each item that moves from a low process maturity to a higher process maturity lowers cybersecurity risk to your organization. The goal is to continually move to a lower risk position for your organization by improving the cybersecurity process maturity for the lowest areas identified. Few organizations will be able to address every identified item immediately. This is normal. We expect this to be a multi-year process where some progress is made each year and is shown by the results from your participation in year-over-year NCA self-assessments. Thanks for participating in this highly strategic initiative. It will benefit our community at two levels. Each organization benefits by understanding their cybersecurity position, and the sector benefits by identifying common areas of risk. This, in turn, helps us identify the methods and tools that can best assist the broader community through larger funding initiatives, community-based programs, or working with external partners to help provide needed services. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about your organization's report, please contact us at the email below.